Steve, Jim Osborne, and gentleman who is just here, Minister Matt. My left, our guest speaker today, Michael Dessecker. Our presenter today of Michael, Al Jenkins. And personal close friend of Michael's, Don Sneed. Recognition of our club sponsors. As you can see on our screens up here, we currently have 3, and those being All Cares Primetime Health, Dr. Peter Ferguson, and Wilkshire Golf Course. I'm pleased to announce that for next week's meeting, which will be at the Hall of Fame, we have 217 pre-sold tickets, which is great. Thanks to all of you and those that maybe aren't here today. So we'll see you at the hall. I don't have mine with me. I've got it turned off, but please silence your phones and any other devices. If you can't silence them, just turn it completely off. Okay. Reminder then, of course, that next Monday, October 3rd, is hosted by the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and it will be at the Nash Family Event and Conference Center at the Hall. Some people have been asking, and it is free parking. Again, I will repeat, parking is free, okay? Meals next week will be catered in by Skyland Pines. Our meal will consist of lemon chicken with pasta, green beans, bread, salad, and a Texas sheet cake. Tickets will still be on sale following today's meeting for about 15 minutes in the far back. See Jim Evans or Dennis Manzella. There will be no tickets available at the door. One thing I skipped over last week and didn't mean to, it has been confirmed that College Basketball Hall of Fame coach Bobby Huggins will be here on Monday, May the 8th. So circle that on your calendar. Also, we will not have a luncheon club on Monday, December 26th. Mike and the owners and our waitresses and all, they have a bunch of holiday parties, and we just decided that we can skip that day. So there will be no luncheon club on the day after Christmas. Okay. I don't know how many of you were able to catch in the newspaper yesterday's repository, but how super nice it was that Magnolia and some of our own from here at the hall. I want to point out to you that their uncle is Vince Costello, and that would be last year's Hall of Fame president, Bill Costello, and his sister, our hostess here, Chris. So there, raise your hands back there, guys. I know you're awful proud of Uncle Nick. And I just wanted to share, Nick Costello's hometown of Magnolia is ready to honor one of their favorite sons. Magnolia Village Council last week unanimously approved a request to rename its athletic complex after Costello, who was a star middle linebacker for the Cleveland Browns from 56 through 66. He was part of the Browns' storied 1964 NFL championship team under coach Blanton Collier. They expect the dedication of the Vince Costello Memorial Athletic Complex to take place sometime next year. Okay, for your information, a few of our club members had used or attempted to use their cards at a Walsh University athletic contest. We just got confirmed minutes before we started this morning. There's been an administrative turnover and all. Those will be accepted, so you can go ahead and present. As always, we are free. That's for Walsh and Malone. That's part of your membership for paying your dues here to the Luncheon Club. So they will be accepting those. It was an executive decision by the new AD, and we're happy and honored that that will go forward for our club members. I did not receive any club illnesses. The deaths were mentioned by the minister. And now for the 50-50 raffle. So get out your white tickets and we'll have Michael pull the winner. I'm supposed to do this really well.
I like that.
All right. Give me one. There's the winner.
318,
Yep.
307, 318.
307-318. White ticket. Wade Hostetler will be giving the 50-50 away. It is for $173 today. Again, 307-318. Jack Welsh. All right. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks for that, Jack. The big winner. Okay, our next week, our speaker will be for the 2003 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee, Joe DeLaMeliere. So we've got a good one in store for you. Joe is always interesting, and what a great, not only player of the past, but just a superhuman being. If you know Joe at all, he's so personable and just really easy going and loves to talk to people. He's a people person. Okay, today, former NFL offensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns, Houston Oilers, and he's got a Super Bowl that you might want to ring that you might want to see, was a member of the Undefeated 1972 Super Bowl champion Miami Dolphins. Please give a heartfelt Hall of Fame Luncheon Club welcome to our speaker presenter, Al Jenkins.
Okay, good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Terrific.
You know, I spoke at this banquet maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I certainly have a special relationship with Kent. 38 years ago, I was an employee of Anheuser-Busch, and Bill Phillips, the home beverage company, is the guy that I called on all the time. And he told me, he said, "You've got to go and meet the Powell family." And I said, "The who?" "The Powell family. They're over at Clearview." And we did. 38 years ago, we started a celebrity golf tournament. And our first celebrity head was Hank Aaron. And since that time, it was out there Gibson, famous tennis player. We've had Vince Costello, famous linebacker for the Browns, Jim Brown, Leroy Kelly, Marion Motley, one of you guys. And so I have a special relationship. And right now, there are some architects and people who live here in Canton. They're building a museum and school for Renee. So give her a round of applause. And so I'm very proud of her. I'm very happy to share in the things that we do with her. You know, it's funny. I'm like every other guy in this room or lady looking for a better golf score, you know? So, you know, I've had dinner with Mike, and we be sitting there, and his phone goes off. It's somebody who says, "Mike, I want you to look at this swing." So in between his bites, he's looking at a guy's swing or a gal's swing, and he's giving them information about how to get it done. And so this year, in my league, in one of my leagues, I won the championship, you know, high handicap, low score, but it was Mike who became my doctor of golf. And so a lot of the guys that he participates and work with consider him to be their doctor of golf. So he's getting calls all hours of the night. He's giving lessons all the time. So whatever he asks of me, I'll do. you know, I said, do you want me to clean up or something? Wash your car? It's just amazing what a guy would do to get a better golf swing and a better score. Well, enough of my jabbering, and I'm sure you'll have a few questions about this year's team and, of course, the former Dolphins. But so Mike gave me a list of all the people he's helped in golf, and you guys would be here until tonight if I had to read all of that. But in 2004, Mike became a member of the PGA and PGA golf professionals. He started his career at Brookledge Golf Course in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, in 1998. He took a job at Walt Disney in '98 at Walt Disney World, and he was the head coach, head instructor at the Lake Buena Vista Resort in Disney World. He has spent the last 13 years at Golf Galaxy, currently at the Canton Golf, Ohio Golf Galaxy. Mike has taught over 40,000 lessons. He's given 40,000 lessons in his lifetime. He has sent over 120 kids, boys and girls, on to play college golf just in the last 15 years. Celebrities from all over, I'm one of them, who seeks to include the NFL greats, Paul Warfield, Leroy Kelly, Mel Blount, Dave Robinson, Franco Harris, Darryl Green, Ken Griffey Jr., Eddie Murphy, and anybody else who can sneak in and get anything done, you know, but they've got to go through me because I'm always with him. But with that, I can say that our doctor of golf, you know, former celebrities, singers, actors, you know, I told Mike, I said, Mike, I can't stand up here and read this list, you know, of athletes and celebrities that you've helped. But I'm sure many of you have a relationship with him, and we'll keep relationships going in the future. So without further ado, I give you Mike. Mike Dessecker.
Thank you, Al. I thought I was supposed to be the speaker for him. I'm not really rude. I am standing up. I'm just this tall. So all my superstar athletes are Al's size, 6'6", you know, 6'4", 6'5", and here's me at 5'6", looking up to them. I was like, boy, Mom, how can I help this guy swing? You know, his golf clubs are taller than me, but we find a way to do it. So I'm just going to start off thanking Al, thanking Jim, RJ. This is quite an honor. I'm a little kid from Kent, Ohio. Golf wasn't even supposed to be my ticket. This is all to my mom. So my mom's not here. She's passed, but might be a little emotional for me. But my mom, when I was 5 or 6 years old, we lived in the hoods of Kent, Ohio. I mean, we were very poor. And, you know, there's some gangs out there and drug dealers that would have the 5 and 6 year olds deliver the little packages to another guy. And all of a sudden, you know, they would give us $3 or $5. And all I knew is the ice cream truck would come around at 5 o'clock with the music. So, oh, I can afford it. Well, I first go to my mom. I was like, Mom, ice cream truck's coming around. And she would say, well, we don't have any money for that ice cream. That's 35 cents for the sherbet and gumball at the bottom. And so we don't have any money for that. So one day she saw me with an ice cream cone and she said, how'd you get that ice cream? So that guy gave it to me. Well, why did he give you that money for that ice cream? I told him what I did. Well, the very next day she went and at a garage sale, she bought me a $5 garage sale set of Pattyberry blades. It was a bag ripped up, had some irons in there, 10 golf balls in there. And every day during the day after she cleaned up the place and took after me, which was quite a chore in itself, she'd take me to a baseball field because we couldn't afford a driving range, which balls back then I think were like $5 for a large bucket. Now they're like 10 or 12, but She watched me hit, she doesn't know nothing about golf either. She saw me hit it from me to you, and I would sit there all day. I thought I was getting penalized. I was like, man, I want to play football and basketball. I don't want to play this golf game. And she'd sit me, she'd take me there every day. And I hit balls for hours, and I got a little bit better at it. And then she would take me to the Kent State golf course. It's now closed down by Kent State University. And I would go on the chipping and putting green, because if you go to a golf course, there's a chipping green and putting green where you don't have to pay. You can just stand there. And the pro came down and says, hey, he goes, I don't mind you being here, and I'm glad you're here chipping and putting. Most people don't do that. They go to the driver range, hit driver. You're actually chipping and putting. He says, why do you chip and putt so hard? I go, because it's free. and my mom, that's all my mom could afford was free. She goes, oh, well, that's great. And he talked to my mom, and he goes, well, there's a negativity where we live, and I don't want my son to be a part of that. And he goes, well, how about this? He comes and watches golf carts on Wednesdays, and he gets to play free golf the whole year. And that's what I did. The only problem was, guess who was watching me watch golf carts every day? My mom. So, boy, that ain't clean enough. And the pro would come down, oh my God, I've never seen the carts this clean in my life. So my mom would make me work really hard and clean the golf carts. And thank goodness to PGA professional Mike Morrow, who was the Kent State women's golf coach and did a fantastic job. He gave me that job. So thank him, Mike Morrow. I want to thank him so much for doing that. And the starters and rangers, they took a young kid and took me out to play, and I played all day long, and eventually got pretty good at it. And no lessons, and a $5 garage sale set of golf clubs. My freshman, sophomore year at Kent Roosevelt High School, I made states. I see kids coming to Golf Galaxy now. Their parents are buying $3,000-$4,000 sets. Kids are, oh, there's something wrong with this club. I had a $5 set of golf clubs. They were too long for me, and we made it happen. The hard work definitely made it happen. And so that my mom made that happen. So thank her that she did that for me. And she didn't even know either. She didn't even know what golf was. She just saw these golf clubs and bought them and thought to take me to a baseball field, probably save my life or get me down the right road, at an early age. So that was so nice of her to do so. As I got a little bit older, I was a 4-year all-conference player at Kent Roosevelt. Played baseball, basketball, and I knew I was okay in those other sports, but I knew golf was probably going to be my ticket. My height, and back then I only weighed 125 pounds, so a little bit more now. But I knew that was probably going to be my ticket, so I, practiced really hard to, in my golf game, and practiced consistently and every day. And at 19, I had a chance to play college golf, but I actually, I decided to turn pro and went and played on the mini tours in Florida. And I found out there's a lot better golfers than me out there. So I was like, I thought I was one of the great ones, but there was a lot of great golfers out there. So I took a job at Walt Disney World Golf Resort. And I was in charge of 99 holes of golf and 2 teaching academies. And I met a lot of celebrities, gave a lot of lessons out there. Right now I do anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 lessons a year. So I do 14 to 15, I would say from April through October, 7 days a week. So I'm glad I got the day off today from doing it. My brain is fried. So, but it's been a rewarding career. I'll just go to a couple stories. At Disney World, we had a touring professional and a club professional, which I was. I was the club professional at Walt Disney World Golf Resort, and 3 amateurs. And we played in this event. And one of the amateurs saw me play, and he's going up to Clarence Rose. I don't know if you guys remember him on the PGA Tour. He's bragging about me, and I hate when people do that, because when they do that, I play like crap. So he's like, oh, you should see this kid play. This guy hits the ball so straight and so far. And he goes, this guy won't shoot higher than the 69, 68. He's great. So obviously that day, does anyone know what the duck hooks is in golf? It's where your ball goes dead left, right when you hit it. It goes way left. I have the duck hooks that day. So we're on the 16th hole and I'm over my shot. And Clarence goes, "Hey, Mike, hold on a second." So I'm figuring he's gonna give me some advice so I don't duck hook this next ball. Well, to the left is a street. And there's McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, and he puts his arm around me. He goes, "Mike, after you hook this next one out of bounds, can you stop at KFC and pick me up before you take it?" So, but I had a lot of fun, and everyone remember Wayne Kirby of the Indians? Got the first game winning hit, at the Jacobs Field, I believe. And Kenny Lofton, I was the pro at Avalon Lakes in Warren, Ohio. And we're at the driving range and I'm working with their swings and he's coming over the top. He's hitting this big slice. And Wayne goes, "Mike, I gotta fix this." So I put a head cover. One of the drills that you can do is put a head cover right by the ball. And if you come over the top, you're gonna hit the head cover. Well, this helps you come from the inside to hit a straighter ball. So he's hitting the ball straight. He goes, "Oh my God, you're a lifesaver. I can't believe that's the best I've ever hit the ball." So we go to the first hole, and you guys know those tee markers. They're like round. He tees his ball up right by one. I'm like, "Oh my God." I was like, "I hope he doesn't do." I look at Kenny Lofton. Kenny's looking at me like this. I go, "That's pretty close." He goes, "Mike, I got this." I go, "I miss the head cover every single time." So I'm just like, "Well, that ball's really close to that tee. Oh, I got this." He comes over the top, smashes the tee marker, breaks his driver. He has to go back and get a new driver right there. So, but had a lot of fun with them guys. Al, Paul Warfield, Leroy Kelly, Mel Blunt. I mean, all wonderful guys. I have to joke with my friends. I told them that I'm gonna be the guest speaker here today, and they're like, "You had a horrible football career." And I go, "Well, that 1 year at PB football, I was a running back and I averaged 1.2 yards per carry. I had 1 touchdown and I had 78 total yards for the whole entire year. And the 1 touchdown I did, it was for 80 yards. So I had -2 the rest of the games." I go, that's what gets you here today." So, but I played with the greats, the Boykins, and they played in the NFL, Darryl Boykin, Roger, a lot of great football players that were on my team then, and they were the true superstars back then. I thought I was good until I saw them run, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not that." So, and they were a lot bigger than me and stronger. So, but it's weird now that all my friends who teased me back then, they said, "Mike, come play football. Golf's a sissy sport." He goes, that's for sissies. You're not cool playing." Well, guess what all my friends want to do now that they're my age? "Mike, teach me how to golf. I need lessons. I love golf now." My friend Mike Paycheck, who's one of the football coaches for Indiana, right? He calls me every day. He's one of the guys who said, "Oh, golf's a sissy sport." Now he calls me every day. "What do you see in my golf swing? What do you see in my golf swing?" So, it's been very rewarding. Don, who's sitting right there, his daughter Sienna, there he is. I enjoy working with her. In just 2 years work, she was breaking 50. I don't know, that's hard to do, especially at a young age. And she breaks 50, and she's going to go on to play college golf here soon. We're going to make sure of that. And I'm very proud of Sienna Sneed. She's gonna turn some heads and do some big things. Going back to the Kent days, I always have a joke with Ben Curtis. I was like, "Yeah, there's 2 celebrities that came out of Kent. One went on to win the British Open, and the other one went on to work at Golf Galaxy." So we always have a joke about that. And he's wonderful, and his wife Candace, who grew right up the street from me. So she played Kent. She was a great player herself. But it's been a very rewarding career. It's probably the best job someone could ever hope for. I'm proud to say I've had over 120 kids, boys and girls, go on to play college golf, and that's rewarding to me. Steve Harvey once, and I teach Steve Harvey. And every time I play with him, I can't play because he's got me laughing so hard. I'm crying, I can't swing. But Steve, one day we talk and he goes, what do you want out of life? I said, well, about the same things you do. I want that Rolls Royce and that, I want to be rich like you. I want to have that Rolls Royce and that mansion you got and all that jewelry you got. And he goes, Mike, you are richer than I am. And I was like, you see what Golf Galaxy's paying me compared to what Family Feud is paying you? And he goes, no, Mike, he goes, the lives you touch everybody's life every day. Sending those kids to school, helping 14, 15 kids every day to put smiles on them. That's what being rich is all about right there. He goes, not many people can do that, but you do that every day. And I thought about it and, I do feel rich because of that. And, I love that, and, a lot of people don't think that they can do something, we bring it out that they can do it. Some people think we're too old to do it. I found a way to make it work for them. Some people, it's hard for them to walk and chew gum at the same time, but I find a way to make it happen for them on the golf course. One of my great stories is Grant Wade. His mom and dad came to me and he had trouble in his leg. He could barely walk and his arm was bent backwards. That's how he was born. But he loved golf. And he goes, his only goal is not to make the team. He just wants to go out and try out for it. Of course, me, I go, no, we're making that team. And then after I said that, after they left, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna make this happen? So we found a way to make him swing, even with, I never wanted him to believe that he had, something wrong with him. I go, we're gonna make this. They go, if I can't make it work for you, there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. We're gonna make it work. And not only did he make the team, he could only swing one hand. But I don't know if anybody played Good Park Golf Course. It's a pretty tough golf course. Good Park Golf Course here in Akron, Ohio. He broke 100 swinging with one hand. 99 he shot. And I found a way to make him swing and make it work for him. And he broke 100 and he played in a varsity match that day and got his letter. And that's, thank you. And the greatest thing about all these kids, now that, they're making me feel old because I still think of them as in 7th grade. And now they're getting married or having kids. And a couple of my students named their kids after me. And they said, they weren't, if it wasn't for you, I would have never dreamed about playing college golf. I was just trying to make my high school golf team. And you made me believe that I could make that team and go on and further my career. And one of my other girls came up to me and she goes, I got this job with Smuckers. And you really made golf enjoyable for me. And I was like, well, how's that deal with Smuckers? Well, my job interview was at Smuckers. And it was at the golf course, Firestone Country Club. And I wasn't hired yet. It was between me and another girl. Well, the other girl didn't know how to play golf. I did. So during the round, her and the CEO from Smuckers and the other place that they're doing business with said, well, we'll do business with you as long as we can play with her every single time. I looked at her and goes, well, I gotta hire you now. So they bought her a job at Firestone Country Club. And now her job is to entertain clients and do dinners 3-4 days a week for Smuckers. But coming from Kent, Ohio, in a very, very poor area, I don't know how my mom did it because I couldn't afford high school or the tournaments for juniors. And next thing you know, my mom would make me up and goes, we got a tournament to go play. What are you talking about? I signed you up for that tournament. Well, how'd you do that? Then I remembered, I have those 10 horrible golf balls I hit every day. They look like eggs. They're not even round anymore. And they're dark colored and they're horrible. It's like, oh, I gotta play with these golf balls. I don't even have any tees. How am I gonna play in this tournament? So I open my bag and somehow there's a dozen brand new Titleist tees in the bag. My mom would take me to the golf course and play in the tournaments. Don't know how she did it because we didn't have any money. And a little joke about my daughter, and God bless her, Peyton. I did never wanted my daughter to live a minute the way I lived growing up. Not 1 minute, not 1 second. My menu every night when we were young was ramen noodles, either chicken or beef flavor. We'd go to the refrigerator, we open it every single time, there'd be nothing in it but maybe ice cubes and government cheese. And they look in the cupboards, it'd be beef and ramen noodles. So my daughter, if anyone's on Facebook friends with me, they know the restaurants I go to now. And you don't get this big from eating nuts and berries. But you know, we go to Hyde Park, Fleming's, Marble Room, Alexander Pierce, the fancy restaurant. So my daughter, I go, honey, it's your birthday coming up. Where would you like to go eat? Dad, please, nowhere fancy this time. We can just go to Hyde Park, Marble Room, or Ken Stewart's. She thinks that's the norm now. So, but that was my fault. I spoiled her, and I'm glad I did. She's everything to me. And she's just now learning to golf. I never pushed that upon her, but now she's starting, you know, I got her tailor-made, fits me with all the clubs, and I got her a $3,000 set, still has the wrappers on them. But now she liked going to Top Golf, and she's starting to swing now. So she has finally said, after 24 years, Dad, I want to start to learn how to play golf. So that warmed my heart. And she goes, maybe one Father's Day, I can take you out golfing. So that brought a tear to my eyes. So I was so happy about that. There's Big Al. I mean, winning his golf event this year. He worked so hard, and I will tell you the difference between athletes. All my athletes that I teach, NFL Hall of Famers, NBA Hall of Famers. I taught Michael Jordan, Dr. J, Larry Nance. But one thing about these athletes that's different than maybe my high school students is if I have a 5:30 lesson with my high school student, they show up at 5:30 right on the button. If it goes to 6:30, they're ready to leave at 5:59. You know, they're the hour they're ready to leave. And I want my high school students to know this. When Al has a 5 o'clock lesson, Austin Carr, I teach Austin Carr from the Cavs. When they have a 5 o'clock lesson, they show up at 4 o'clock. They hit bucket balls, they practice. When we do our lesson, we go an hour and a half. After the lesson, they go, Mike, I want to stick around and hit some more balls. They do it, and then they text me at night and they go, look, I'm doing the drill. But that makes a difference between wanting to be great and average. And my students are starting to learn. I saw Wilkshire is one of our sponsors. One of my junior students just 2 weeks ago, great kid, Connor Ritter, won states last year. If you know the score 27 and the par is 36, shot a 27. It's 9 under par for 9 holes, a high school student. Wow. He had an eagle, a hole in one, and the rest birdies and 2 pars. But he shot a 27, and very proud of him. And I'm proud of some of my other students who shot 46, because that 46 is someone's 27. You know, on Facebook, I reward all of them, no matter what they shoot. If they break 50, because those same people were shooting 70 last year. You know, I want them all to feel good. You know, they're all accomplishing something. Sure, I would like to play in NBA. That was my dream. I know I had my grandma, she would, I'd go to her house. You know how grandmas used to mark it with the pencil? And she'd come in. She goes, Michael, I can't believe how tall you're getting. I go, Grandma, I'm 36 years old. I've been that tall since the 6th grade. I go, that pencil mark's never changed. So, but you know, it's this golf is, I can't believe the people that I've met along the way and being able to speak in front of you and tell my life stories. And I mean, it's just a warm feeling and helping all these kids and just everyone in my life. I mean, 40,000 lessons plus. And, you know, this year I always tell myself every year that I'm going to slow down, and I should, but every year I can't say no. That's the toughest thing for me to do is say no to someone, especially a kid, because Once your kid's a student of mine, they're like my kids now. You know how, like if my daughter said, Dad, I'm playing in a tournament tomorrow, I'm struggling. I'm gonna tell her no. Well, that's how I am with all the kids. You know, after I do a 13, 14-hour day of lessons, you know, Mike, I'm playing a tournament tomorrow. Can you help me? Yes, I'm going out there. I'm not gonna let my kids, my boys and girls struggle. So, you know, I help them out. And it's not over there. I'll tell you when I go home, and this is what I was talking about. After I do 13, 14 hours of lessons a day, I have kids scattered throughout the country playing college golf. I'll go home and there's 15 to 20 swings on my phone. They can't see me up, you know, personal because they're in Texas, California, Arizona. So I'm up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning fixing their swings on my phone. There's been some nights it's been 19, 20 hours of giving golf lessons in a day. And it's a lot, you know, almost turning 50. I mean, it was easier to do at 25, but now at age 50, it's getting tougher, but I still enjoy it, you know, and helping them and helping everybody. You know, golf tells a lot about someone, you know, when you're gonna see if someone's gonna quit, someone's gonna cheat, you know, teaches integrity, honesty, you know, the 9 core values of life, you know, and you know, like other sports, I mean, I don't think when LeBron James travels, he'll be like, ref, I traveled, here's the ball, you know, or someone stepped out of bounds in football, you're like, no, I didn't step out of bounds, but in golf, with $4.4 million on the line, you can be over a ball, and if you make a move, no one sees it but you. You still call it on yourself. How about that? No one sees it but you. That's what makes golf so pure. You know, you're the only one that sees it, and you call penalties on yourself. You don't rely on a referee or someone else. You call it, and it's the First Tee, which is an awesome program. You know, it teaches these kids more so than just golf. It teaches them life values. I wish I had that when I was younger, but you know, my mom, when I went away to Florida, she didn't say, Mike, you know, don't do drugs, don't drink, don't mess with all these women. You know, she laid that groundwork for 18 years. A 10-minute conversation wasn't gonna work now. So I knew growing up, you know, my mom raised me right, and you know, my mom was a giver as much as she could, and she gave to me and helped me make this my career. And I would owe it to my mom, you know, for doing this. She didn't know one thing about golf. She didn't tell me how to hold the club, how to take it back, keep my head down, do this or do that. She didn't know nothing. She just says, hit that ball. That's all I did. And so I was very, very, very glad and honored that I had a mom like that that would, she didn't know that this would save my life or lead me down the right way, but it definitely did. And Samuel L. Jackson, what a great guy he is. Won his like first Oscar this year. I know it was overshadowed by the slap, but we had a party for him in Arizona that I went to, and it's amazing how they still have that competitiveness. Like he wants to be Denzel Washington's butt. he goes, oh, I got to beat him, and then Denzel starts calling me and videotaping his swing and sends it to me. He goes, I saw you with him. He's taking too much of my money. And the same with these athletes. Al tells me, well, I got to beat these guys. So, you know, they're retired from football, but they still got that competitive spirit. So, but does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
Did you ever give Charles Barkley a lesson?
I did not ever give Charles a lesson. I gave Michael a lesson, gave Charles Oakley. The best thing ever, when I was younger, my hands were too small, but I used to shoot a basketball like this. I never shot it like, you know, the correct way. So I had a Dr. J basketball, and Doc was my favorite player at the time. When I went to Disney World, I saw Julius Irving on my lesson schedule. I was like, well, that can't be Doc. Sure it was Dr. J. So And I told him that story, and I go, I dribbled that ball everywhere. My dad would make me dribble down the store. We didn't have cars, cell phones, or nothing like that. I had to walk to the store for my mom. He goes, if I catch you dribbling that ball with your right hand, I'm gonna take it away for a week. I'm spilling groceries all over the place, trying to dribble with my left hand, all miles. So by the time I got to grade school and high school, though, I could dribble with both hands, my head up, left hand, right hand. And then I went on to be great friends with Larry Nance Sr. and Jr. and his other son, Pete and Casey. So I give them lessons too. So I gave lessons to the first 2 slam dunk finalists in the NBA, Dr. J and Larry Nance Sr. So I gave Magic a lesson too before. So Magic's pretty tall. Byron Scott's probably the best player that I gave a lesson to. That's a basketball player. He's like a 2 or 3 handicap and he hits it a mile. So. But yeah, Charles, I never gave him a lesson. He's actually getting a little bit better now. I don't know if you've seen it recently, but yeah, his swing was pretty messed up for a while. Yes, sir.
You're already committed to your work with the youth today, and for your love of the game. Other than Al, who was your toughest teach?
As a celebrity or just any celebrity?
I've heard Leroy talk about his golf.
A lot of them, let me see who's, the hardest was Steve Harvey.
No, Greg.
Huh?
Steve, Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, Steve Craig. Yeah, Steve Craig from Minnesota Vikings. And Steve's a pretty big guy.
He's from Akron.
And he's from Akron, Garfield. But he sends me his swing about every day too. And he comes way over the top. I give him these drills, and he's the only guy that I've seen hit the ball backwards before. He hit this ball and it had so much spin, it went into the ground and actually spun back. So he had a -1 yards before. But he's a great guy, and I got him swinging pretty good now. And he'll text me almost every night and says, yeah, I'm playing a little bit better here and there, and he'll videotape the swing and send it to me. And so he's probably one of the toughest ones, but he's good now. Yes, sir.
All right, Mike, now this is another, one of the questions about Steve. Is he really as cool as he seems as he is on screen? Is he really as personable as he seems like on Family Feud or a Sock Show?
Great question, Steve Harvey. Yeah, Steve is very giving, and he always gives you inspirational quotes. And I can call Steve anytime if I'm feeling down or if I need advice. Steve's always there. As busy as schedules he's got, he'll help me. And I remember the time where we played at Renee Paul's spot. It was me, Eddie Levert from the OJs, like my godfather, Steve Harvey, and who else? Charles Oakley. We were playing. And Steve, I don't know, anyone seen Steve in person? I mean, like in actual person, Steve Harvey? He's about 6'4", 6'5". So he's pretty tall, way taller than me, obviously. And he goes to me one time, he goes, how can someone who comes up to my kneecap hit it 70 yards further than me? and he goes, you've got to teach me how to hit it like you do. And, but no, Steve is a wonderful, all the guys that I teach that are celebrities, they're all wonderful. They're very humble and they're very just so nice, and they worked really hard to get where they're at. And I learned a lot from all of them. And Al's one of my best friends, and I learned from Al. And Paul, I'll tell you a story about Paul Orfield, Leroy Kelly, and Al one time. So we're at this restaurant, and the wives, my girlfriend's there, and one of our wives started to get up to go excuse herself to the restroom. Well, Paul stands up, and as she goes, she comes back, and he stands up again and opens a chair for her and pushes it down. And then my girlfriend's like this, looking at me now, like this. And I'm like, all right, I learned something. So guess what I do now? Every time someone excuses themselves, I stand up, and when they come back, I stand up and, pull the chair out, and so I learned so much from these guys. I mean, they're gentlemen, and, they're just, I can call Al any time of the night, and, he'll talk to me, and, I've learned so much from Al and Paul Warfield, Leroy Kelly. I love it when they come into town. It's, I take them all golfing, Ben Davis, another one, I learned so much, from them. Other than just sports, I mean, just life. Something I can use for my students. I teach, not necessarily golf, just other stuff. So, I watch a lot of the NFL, when they make their speeches. And one that really touched my heart was Shannon Sharp. And Shannon loved to talk like me, but Shannon said, out of the 267 people who walked through this Hall of Fame, this building next door to me, I'm the only man who can honestly say this. He says, I'm out of 267 NFL Hall of Famers, I'm the only person who's in the NFL Hall of Fame, and I'm the second best player in my own family, talking about Sterling Sharp, his brother, who would have been in the NFL had it not been for, or the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for injuries. And hopefully maybe one day Sterling can get in there, because for 7 years, he put up super Hall of Fame numbers. Just a neck injury, kept him from going longer. But 7 years, his stats are just as good as anyone's ever played the game. But I thought that was pretty good, and how he spoke on his grandmother, I kind of relate to me, because he was saying when it rained outside, they would get wet, and they would put pots and pans, and that would catch the rain, the same very pots and pans that they would cook in. And it really hit the heart, because it seemed like that was my place too sometimes, And he goes, me and my brother are making millions, and, he says, Grandma, what do you want? I want a house that, when I wake up, that I hope it pours all day and all night, that we just don't get wet. And he was thinking, should I buy her a mansion? No, she'd want just a basic 2-bedroom house, simple, just so when she wakes up, she doesn't get wet, and, Shannon left it by saying, I hope she's proud of me, and am I the man that, he expected of me? And I'd like to steal that and for my mom, and say, Mom, am I the man you thought I grew up to be? And I hope, you're proud of me. And I guess standing up here in front of you, I made it, and I think she would be proud looking down on me today, talking in front of you also. This has been an honor, Yeah, I got some more time for questions. Yes, sir.
You give lessons to normal people other than
Well, I like the normal people. They pay me. The celebrity's like, thanks, Mike. No, yes, I do. I'm at the Canton Golf Galaxy near Dick's Sporting Goods here in Canton. So yeah, we can call the store and schedule anytime. I'd love to see you. Yes, sir.
What's your most favorite golf course that you played on? Or
Favorite golf course? That's a good question. I played Oakmont, Laurel Valley, Bay Hill, Pebble, Pinehurst. I would say around here, my 2 favorite courses around here, just in this area, are Brookside Country Club and Firestone North. Those are 2 of my most beautiful, I love those 2 courses. Pebble obviously is just the views, it's awesome. I mean, the views there are just great. So I was fortunate to play them courses. Usually when I go to places like that, I'm waiting for someone to say, hey, Mike, get back on the dishwasher. So I'm looking around. I gotta tell you this funny story. I think I told Jim this earlier. I'm playing in this pro-am at a Westfield Country Club. And at the time I'm sponsored by Nike, and they give me this white shirt and these black pants with these white and black wing tip golf shoes. And I'm looking, I think I'm just looking so fly out there. Well, the workers also have a white shirt and black pants on. So this guy drives up in this real fancy Mercedes, I think it was a Maybach or something, and he's in a hurry. I can see him rushing. So he throws the keys at me and I catch him like this. He thought I was one of the workers. So I catch him and he goes, "Can you park that for me?" I was like, "Sure." So I got in line to park the car for him and got back in line. He didn't know I was one of the pro players, so they threw the keys to me. And anybody else have any questions?
Mike, you know that it appears a lot of the golf courses are closing down in this area. I don't know about across the country. But do you see the popularity of golf going down, or are the younger people picking up the golf and hopefully carrying on that?
Good, very good question. And I hate to say this, but because we don't like COVID, it's took a lot of lives. It's COVID actually gave a shot to golf. And I didn't want COVID to do that. I was hoping we'd give our own shots to golf to make it, but COVID actually did. COVID has really made the plays to go back up. That was the only thing you could do for a while, right? Outside sport. In fact, you know those pull carts that people have when they walk. My whole 12 years at Golf Galaxy, we might have sold 12 of those. My whole 12 years there, 12 total. When COVID hit, we were selling 12 to 24 a day. In fact, we were getting phone calls saying, when one comes in, because we didn't have enough stock, when one comes in, put my name on it right away. So we would get these calls, we'd have to take names, and that's how fast they were sold, because you couldn't ride in golf carts, you had to walk for a while when COVID first hit. But as for lessons, I know, I think rounds are going way up now again. What happened is the people who kind of gave up golf before, just kind of gave it up, found love in it again. And newer people were like, well, this is one of the few things that we can do outside. So they started playing. So I know my lessons haven't dropped. I mean, they're actually going way up. In fact, this year, I'm probably gonna be close to the 2,000 mark, 2,000 lessons this year that I'm gonna be given by the time December comes. And it's a lot, but yeah, I was booked out at one time for 3.5 months out to get an appointment with me. So it's, yeah, I think it's on the rise again and people are loving it again. Another thing too is we, even as instructors, we gotta get you guys better, because golf's fun, but when you play bad, it can become frustrating, right, guys? It's frustrating. If you only hit the ball 2 feet in front of you and you chase it, you hit it 2 feet, eventually you're not gonna find. If I become a chef and I fix y'all food and you're like, "Mike, this stinks. I don't think I want to cook again." So if I cook it good, you want to eat it, I'll cook again. But that's like golf. You got to get these people better, find a way to get them better, enjoy the game, make it fun for everybody and make it involved for, everybody to play, and I think golf is going that way. Fortunately, golf's had a division in it for a long time, race, color, poor, rich. Now Live Golf Tour and the PGA Golf Tour. I'm okay with someone going somewhere else, because they're making more money if that's the reason they want to, but it's almost like there's a division in it again, and that's no good. We cannot have divisions in golf. We want to have everyone welcome, to play, and that's it's great. I mean, you meet so many great people out there on the golf course. You learn so much about a person, and you're gonna be out there 2 to 4 hours. Golf's the only sport that you play. Like when you play football, there's 12-minute quarters. Basketball, there's 4 quarters, and you're playing. In golf, it takes you 4.5 hours to play, but you're really only playing for 25 minutes. The rest of the time you're walking. So when I'm talking about it only takes 25 minutes to play, it's when you get to your ball and you look at the yardage and you pick up your golf club and you actually hit the ball. So you add all that up and you really only play 25 minutes, but you're out there for 4.5 hours. So not many people realize that. They think they're playing the whole 4.5 hours. But, so, yes, sir.
Do you think this live golf is gonna survive?
Oh, did anyone watch it? Good question. They've got the money to do it, the backing. That's the scary part, right? They've got unlimited resources and money. And usually when you have unlimited resources and money, it could go a long way. But did anyone watch the President's Cup yesterday? Did you see they played for free, but do you see the heart? They had it and they played for their country and they played for each other. They played for the love of the game. I'm a historian of the game. Bobby Jones once said one time, well, this is before I was born, way back when, he says, money's gonna ruin this game one day. He said that, money's gonna ruin this game one day. And look what's happening, you know? I'm sure the PGA Tour players, we gotta get paid. We all gotta do something for a living, right? I mean, I wish I would do lessons for free if I had the money for it, you know, because I love it that much and I wanna help everybody. I do a lot of lessons for free. I have a lot of inner city kids. I remember one mom, I won't mention their names, but you know, she called me and she goes, Mike, she goes, could you give so-and-so a lesson? And I was like, absolutely. She goes, I got one thing to ask you and I'm embarrassed about it. She goes, do you mind if I pay you next Friday? That's the day I get paid. And I said, I'll make you a deal. I'm gonna do the lesson, but make sure you don't pay me next Friday. She goes, what? No, I wanna pay you. I get paid that Friday. You're gonna need money for groceries, that electric bill, that heat bill. You're gonna need money to put away for his college education. I don't need it. I'll be happy to do that. I've done millions of those, you know, because I was that kid that couldn't afford lessons. I was that same kid. It's only an hour of my time to make someone better. You know, golf's done great for me financially. I'm not Steve Harvey rich, not even close. But, you know, I got a roof over my head. I got a car. I got groceries in my refrigerator, better than what I had when I was growing up. I'm okay. An hour of my time is going to be no difference from that. If it impacts his life and makes him better, I'm going to do that. Best believe that. But that's a good question. The Live Golf Tour. I mean, I'm a PGA Tour guy. However, if someone told me that they're going to be 150 million to 200 million to go join something, be tough for anyone to turn it down. You know, I mean, I don't know even if I was on the PGA Tour, I can't honestly say, but you know, the reason why I would do it for money is I could open up golf schools and charge kids very little to succeed. It's the only reason why I would go there. Not for the money itself, but the more money I get, the more people I can help. That's what I do.
That's great.
Thank you. So at Golf Galaxy, they have package deals. 1/2 hour is 70, 3 lessons is 179, 6 lessons is 299, and 10 lessons is 399. So it's pretty cheap there at Golf Galaxy. And they put over $200,000 worth of equipment for me for your lessons. So you learn pretty quick on that. So thank you. Thank you all so much. It's truly an honor for me. Thank you.